Hi everybody, I wanted to come and do just a quick video because I haven't made one in a little while. I've been busy with tutoring because that has picked up a whole lot and I'm helping a few people right now. So if you don't have my website, then you can go to daytodaysocialwork.wix.com/my site, and that's my website. I'll put it in the description box below. So I'll be adding and updating that page. I just made it about 2 weeks ago. So if you have any questions or if you like tutoring, all that information is there. Okay, so again, I wanted to just come by and do a quick video on the acronyms that you can use to help you answer questions on the exam. They haven't been they weren't very helpful for me, but that doesn't mean that it won't be helpful for you. It just confused me, but some people say that they are very helpful for them. And so I decided to make a video on them in case they are helpful for you. There are two acronyms that I've seen the most common out of all of the rest of them because there are so many of them out there. And they are FAREAFI, or however you want to pronounce that, and aspirins. So FAREAFI is spelled F-A-R-E-F, oh wait, F-A-R-E-A-F-I. So, again, FAREAFI, and that acronym is best used for questions that are first, next. So if the question asks you, what would you do first with the client? What would you do next? After they give you a list of things that the scenario gives you a situation, and then they ask you what would you do first, or what should the social worker do next. So this is the acronym that you would use for those kind of questions. And so the F means feelings of client to be acknowledged or building rapport. So of course we know that's the first thing that we need to do when we meet with a client, is to build rapport with them so that they can get rid of any anxiety and work towards trusting us and giving us their information without holding back. The A means assess. So you're going to assess the situation after you've built your rapport and after you've acknowledged the client's feelings. The R is refer. So after you've assessed the situation and you come up with a plan and all that other stuff, you're going to refer the client out to services. The E is educate. So if there's anything that you can give the client at that time while they're there in your office, then educate them on that. After you refer them out, if you have any resources at your site, then educate them. A is advocate. So if there's an issue that the client is going through and they need you to advocate on their behalf, if they need you to write a recommendation for them for a job or something like that, that's advocating for the client. Facilitate is the F. So there may be some service that you need to facilitate with the client at your office. So that's what the F is. And then I is intervene. So if there's a crisis situation, the client is having a medical emergency, you need to intervene at that point, and that's FAREAFI. So FAREAFI. Feelings of the client to be acknowledged, build rapport. That's the F. The A is assess. The R is refer. The E is educate. The A is advocate. The F is facilitate, and the I is intervene. Okay, so the next acronym is aspirins, and this one is kind of tricky. It's a little bit longer, so it's a lot more to remember, but this one is good for questions that are most. So what's the best thing to do for the client? What is the social worker most likely to do for the client? That kind of thing. So the A in aspirins is acknowledge the client or patient and build rapport. We know that's what we're always going to do first, pretty much in any situation, as long as there's not a medical emergency or the client is not showing you that they're going to harm themselves or somebody else. The second A, because there are two A's, and it's spelled AASPIRINS. So I'll put that in a little bubble or something on here. So the second A is assess. So you're going to assess the situation. The S is start where the client is. So you've built your rapport, you've assessed the situation. Now you want to start where the client is. So if the client is, you've assessed the client wants to get a better job. You know that the client doesn't have any education past high school, but the client is not interested in going to college. So you need to start where the client is. You need to be okay with the client not being ready to go to college. At some point, he or she may get to that point. So start where the client is. The P is protect life. And that's making sure that the client is not a danger to themselves or someone else or the community at large. The I is intoxicated, do not treat, refer. So if the client is under some kind of influence of alcohol or drugs, you need to stop the process and refer them out to get treatment. R is rule out medical issue. That's self-explanatory. If the client is presenting with heart palpitations, you need to make for sure that that's not a medical emergency, that's they could be anxious and their heart is pounding or something like that, but you need to rule out that the client doesn't have like congestive heart failure or something like that. The I is informed consent. Of course, we know we have to get informed consent from the client before we start services. The N is non-judgmental stance. We're social workers. The client is all of social work is based on self-determination. We don't want to judge our clients for their decisions that they make. We just want to be there to assist them. And the S is support self-determination. Again, so aspirins, AASPIRINS. Acknowledge the client or patient, build rapport is the first A. The second A is assess. The P is protect life. The I is intoxicated. That's a question mark. Intoxicated, do not treat, refer. The R is rule out medical issues. The I is informed consent. Sorry, I gotta pop up here. Sorry about that. Okay. The I is informed consent. The N is non-judgmental stance. And the S is support self-determination. Okay? So that is the acronym that is used for questions that ask you what's the best thing to do for the client or what is the most likely thing that you should do for the client next. And this is used for the way that you use it, rather, is you would look through the question. The best thing to do is to eliminate the two answers that you know are just not correct, and then you use these acronyms and go down the list and see if all these things have been done, and you check them off. And then when you come across one that hasn't been done, that's more than likely the answer, but you want to make sure that it makes sense. So you can't depend solely on these acronyms. And so just one last acronym that I wanted to talk about is called, well, it's not called anything, but it's spelled EIAGIET. And the way to remember that one is Emily is always getting into extraordinary trouble. And when I did take the exam, I did write down the acronyms that I wanted to remember as soon as I got in there so that I wouldn't forget, but I really didn't use them, but maybe once or twice. But Emily is always getting into extraordinary trouble, EIAGIET. So the E means engage, the I means information gathering, the A is assess, the G is goal setting, the I is intervention, the E is evaluation, and the T is termination. And so this is what you would use during treatment procedures with the client. So basically, if you're doing like case management, you want to first engage the client, ask them how their day is going, that kind of thing, building rapport essentially. I is information gathering, that's the assessment, the interview, the interview, because the A is assessment. The G is goal setting, that's coming up with the treatment plan after you've assessed the situation. The I is the intervention. The E is evaluation, because that's nearing the end of the relationship, so you want to evaluate what you've done so far with the client. And then the T is termination, so you want to end services. So that's pretty much it. I didn't want to make this a long video, so if there's anything I can answer about these 3 acronyms, leave me a comment in the comment box. Or you can email me, of course, missashharp@gmail.com. That's MISSASHHARP@gmail.com. All right. So again, if I can help you in any way, just let me know. If there's any specific kind of video you want made, just let me know. And hopefully I'll be uploading another video, because in between my tutoring I have been taking notes to do some other videos, and one of them is to include some study tips for the exam. All right, so I'll see you later.